Hello, everybody. As you can tell, Once Upon a Time was not its usual self last night, and it was actually a really well done episode. And unlike all the other episodes of Once Upon a Time, it was a musical, which is one of my favorite things, especially when they get it right. You really need to get these episodes right, otherwise people complain, and unfortunately, in the past, some shows have not been done too well, so. But Once Upon a Time, I can say they really did a great job with all of the songs and working them into the story. So I'm going to recap the show, and I'm going to try to talk about each of the songs. There were 7 songs. For a moment, I thought there was going to be an 8th, but we'll get to that one. Alright, so we open with young Emma, who is recording her humming because she wants to do a talent show. So she's trying to warm up her voice, and I guess she's trying to write a song in a sense. So she's recording her voice, and then one of the foster children walks in and they're telling her, oh, you're not going to be able to do this. You're always going to be alone no matter what you do, and, always bringing her down. I swear young Emma just was constantly being brought down, and that kind of made her give up the talent show and made her even give up singing. So it was an interesting way to see how song fit into her life. So back in the present, Emma is getting ready for her wedding with Hook, and it's very exciting because they're picking out dresses. And Snow said that she found her wedding dress, and it's actually a really interesting dress for Emma, especially because it has feathers and everything, and I was thinking that's perfect because she's Emma Swan. So I know there were different pictures of the wedding dress, but I was hoping maybe that would be the dress in the end, because it would have been really nice, especially for her to wear her mother's wedding dress. But unfortunately, the Black Fairy comes in, and this was actually interesting. The dress went from white to black because of her dark magic, but I was thinking while Emma was holding it, it was a really great metaphor for when Emma became the Dark One. She went from light magic to dark magic, and like regular swan to dark swan. So I really thought that was kind of a neat metaphor that they kind of fit in there. Don't know if that was what was intended, but I think it kind of worked like that. So the Black Fairy basically gives Emma an ultimatum. It's like, either you give me your heart, or a new curse will be unleashed upon the town of Storybrooke. So that is where things get really complicated. But before we get into that, let's start with the past, where Snow makes a wish upon a star, and that's the first old Disney reference there. When you wish upon a star, she wishes that Emma had a chance at a happy ending, because this is right before the dark curse is about to hit, and Snow and Charming are trying desperately to stop it. So Snow makes the wish out of frustration, and in the morning she wakes up and she's singing. And I loved this number. It was basically like, I thought it was a really interesting take on Enchanted. If you guys have seen that movie, the movie basically kind of pokes fun at Disney musicals. So I felt like it was very reminiscent of that, especially when Charming comes in. So I liked that number because it was very well done. It started as classical Disney, and then the orchestrations build up and it becomes a really powerful moving song between Snow and Charming. So I thought that was a really great number to open with. And let's let's talk about the Evil Queen song. Now, this one was really, really neat. We move from, well, we kind of start with a little bit of old Disney villain, but then we get into a rock and roll style song for the Queen. And Lana's voice is really good for rock and roll. She really nailed that song. And I loved the opening where, back to the old Disney style with the villain songs, she's noting how she's singing, and she learns that the Charmings have created a spell in a sense. That's what she thinks anyway. And the point is, love and song is what's going to stop the curse, and the evil queen she's not going to sit well with that, so that's when she breaks into her song. Also to note, there was another reference here. When the dwarves are singing in the mines, it was very reminiscent to Hi-Ho from Snow White. So I really loved that they added that in. Even if it was like a second, it was perfect. But yeah, everybody's singing. It was just like, where has this been this whole time? If this show is ending, this was like one of the best episodes to put near the end. Like, it was really well done. So let me try to wrap up what's going on in Storybrooke, and then I'll talk about the musical numbers, because I think that would be a little better. So they're trying to figure out how to stop the new curse. I don't know what to call it yet, so I'm just going to call it the new curse. And Regina comes up with an idea that maybe if she can manipulate the time freeze part of the original curse, then she can stop the curse that way by freezing time. And she actually does accomplish this. However, Rumple manages to snatch the potion out of her hand, as usual, because Rumple's a traitor, you know. So, basically, they all get captured, including Hook, who was trying to stop Rumple earlier, but it ended up not working out. And, so yeah, we have reached the point where Emma has to come up with an idea of how she's going to defeat the Black Fairy, and she kind of just thinks they should start the final battle, but then she sees that everyone's been captured, and the Black Fairy reminds her of how alone she was in the past, and this kind of causes Emma weakness, especially in her powers when she tries to fight the Black Fairy. And so she goes to Henry, and they're talking, and she points out that she felt very alone at that time, and the music just reminded her of how she really felt. Like, it didn't really help her at the time. And this kind of created a thing where whenever she had to face something or she was going to do something, if she couldn't find the courage, she ran away from it. And she notes that that was kind of what she did with Henry. And Henry, he's very understanding, and he tells her that she's grown and things are different now, and she's not alone. But Emma she's going to try to face the Black Fairy, but this time she's just going to give her her heart, because she at least wants Henry to have a family, even if she's not in the family. So, another heartbreaking scene. So she goes to face the Black Fairy, and let's jump back to the songs now, because what happens in the past is going to make a lot more sense for this coming scene. So, back in past Enchanted Forest, Snow and Charming are planning to go face the Queen with their song, and they go to Hook, which we we know they did not meet in the past, and this will be explained later. But this is where Hook gets to have his big number, and it's really, really awesome. He's basically explaining what happened to his hand and what happened to his life. And they make a deal with him that if he gives them safe passage to Regina's castle, then they'll let him have the Dark One, who's in their dungeon at the time. So that's how that deal is made. And meanwhile, Queen Evil Regina, she goes to Rumple, who's in the dungeon, and this was the funny part. So, she points out that Snow and Charming have caused a spell that makes everybody break out into song, and she's telling Rumple that that's kind of messing with the curse and everything, and she tells him to sing, and I'm sorry, this part's just so funny. He starts to dance and everything, and then when he turns around to Regina, we think he's gonna sing, but then he's like, haha, no. Oh, just that scene was so funny. Anyway, he seems to be kind of unaffected by the spell, which I'm not sure if that was just Robert Carlyle, I'm saying that name right, Robert's choice, or maybe they just wanted to have it like that is Rumple's character. He's like, I don't break into song and dance. But anyway, the moment was just really well done. And Rumple tells the queen, go fix this yourself, prove to me that you're the better student, and this is where we get into Zelina's song. And this one was actually my favorite, mostly because it reminded me of the musical Wicked. It was very much like that musical, not just because she's the Wicked Witch and singing, but because the music and the style, it was very similar and reminiscent to it. So I really loved that number, and I love how she's tormenting the Munchkins while she's singing. It was kind of like a new take on The Wizard of Oz, where she goes to the Munchkin village. Anyway, so basically in her song, she reveals how much she despises Regina, but at the same time she's going to help the curse happen, because that way, when Regina is successful, she'll be able to take over her kingdom, which is what she does in season 3. She has taken over the kingdom, so that kind of explained that part of the story, which I'm glad we kind of got an explanation to that. So she comes up with a box, and she stores it in Regina's vault, and that's where Regina finds it, and she uses it on Snow and Charming when they come to face her, and it basically takes away the power of song. So now that they don't have that, they can't defeat her. And that was actually a really neat scene, because it was kind of like I want to call it a sing-off. Regina's song versus Snow and Charming's song. And it was really, just everything was really well done about this. And so yeah, they have their song taken away, and now there's no hope. But then Blue comes in, and she reveals that she granted the wish. She was the star. And the point wasn't for Snow and Charming to use the power of song on Regina. The point was to give Emma the power of song. So back in present time Storybrooke, Henry finds the pages that explain that. And that is when he goes to help Emma. And Emma has had her heart taken out by the Black Fairy. The Black Fairy tried to crush it, but she couldn't, because her heart is strong from the power of song. And that rhymed. Awesome. Anyway, so Emma realizes that she's never really been alone. The voices of the people she loves have been within her the whole time, which is a really beautiful sentiment And this is when she finds the power of song and she begins to sing. And what's really cool about this song is that they used Emma's theme. So they wrote words to it, which is really, I love that they did that. It really connects everything and brings everything together, which I think was a really brilliant idea. So yeah, that song was really beautiful. And with the song, she's able to defeat the Black Fairy. She unfreezes everybody, and unfortunately, there's still a final battle coming and the Dark Curse and everything, but Emma feels confident now, and she knows she can face the Black Fairy. So we end it with that in terms of that storyline. Then we move on to Hook and Emma's wedding, which that was the best wedding I could have asked for Emma and Hook. They ended up having it on the rooftop of a building, and it was just also fairy tale-like, and their vows are so beautiful to each other. It's not just the words that they're saying to each other, you really see the character growth in them, and it was just like the cherry on top of everything. And then they dance, and they have a final song. I think it's called A Happy Beginning, because Emma's like, it's not a happy ending, it's a happy beginning, which that's a nice way of looking at it. So it's all happy and everything, but then the clock strikes and the Dark Curse is unleashed, and they don't know what's going to happen to them, and that's basically where we leave it. But she's confident that they're going to win, so that's good at least. And the promo for the final battle looks intense, and I'm not ready for it. I'm really not ready for it. It's going to be a 2-hour finale, and I don't want this show to end. I don't know if it's ending, but I learned that Jennifer Morrison isn't returning. She might guest star on one episode, but that's it. So I don't know if they're going to do a reboot like they've been talking about or what, but I don't want it to end. I mean, I understand seeing this story ending because they've been through a lot, and it is about time before it starts to drag, but I'm really going to miss it. It's been a part of my life since high school. So, yeah, fingers are crossed they get picked up for season 7, and maybe they'll focus on Henry more. I'm curious to see what they do. So, yeah. But this was really well done, and I believe the songwriters are Alan Zachary and Michael Weiner. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they did a great job. Like, I'm always iffy when there's new songwriters coming in, especially for big episodes like this, but I shouldn't be iffy. They were amazing. And they wrote songs that really fit the characters, that really moved the story along, and explained everything perfectly. I have to hand it to them. Bravo. I don't think I could do that. But yeah, that was really well done. Like, I imagined Alan Menken coming on and doing a song or two, and that would have been really cool, by the way. But these two really pulled it off, and I have to say, congrats to them. And everyone's voices, like, why haven't they been singing more? Like, Jennifer Morrison's voice is just beautiful. And Lana she really has that strong rock and roll voice. And Ginnifer Goodwin and Josh Dallas, they were perfect singing together, and just everyone was so amazing. Their voices really soared, and I hope we get to hear them sing in the future, even if it's not on Once Upon a Time. They have to sing more. I'm just gonna have this soundtrack on loop. And my friend even bought it last night. That's how good it was. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the musical episode. I know there were a lot of naysayers about it, and I know it can seem cheesy when people do musical episodes, but I think it's a really neat thing to do, especially when it fits the concept of the show. Once Upon a Time, I mean, it's Disney, and it works. And they made it work. So, we can't really say this isn't going to work until we actually see if it does or not. So, yeah, we have to have hope for people. Give them encouragement, and I mean, this was so... I'm sorry, I can't stop saying this. This was so well done. So yeah, I hope people enjoyed it, because the sentiment was beautiful. The fact that singing isn't just singing, it's finding your voice, it's finding your strength, finding happiness even, expressing yourself. And it's really about finding courage, because it takes a lot of courage finding your voice, singing in front of people. So the way they made it work into the show was really well done. So I think they did a great job. And I also want to point out that the box that Selena invented was very much like Ursula's seashell from The Little Mermaid, especially the way it pulled the voices out of Snow and Charming. So yeah, another reference. All right, I'm going to leave it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you for the final battle. I don't know where this is going, but hopefully it will be a good ending. I mean, they said everything's gonna be wrapped up and left in a good place, so seriously, season 7, please. Alright, I'm going to leave it here, and I'll see you for the final battle. Alright, bye!